Now, all of tonight's tellers have interconnections. Our next teller, Bob Eisenberg, who is also known as Robert, is a college friend of Bob Dodd, who runs all of these wonderful programs in the library. And I have known Robert through Brother Blues storytelling in Cambridge. I heard Bob there many, many times, and I've seen him at storytelling suppers, and he is going to tell a very different type of story, though it did take place not too different a time frame. His story is called The Apology.
As Libby said, this story is called The Apology. I'm on my computer, and I get a notification from Facebook that a Pat Shaw wants to send me a message. In fact, did send me a message. Now, I get messages all the time. As a matter of fact, before I came here, I got a message to come to Virginia for a concert. What do they think? We just sit at our computer and wait for these invitations? And we're going to run down to Virginia on Sunday? Well, as soon as I see these, I delete it, and I'm about to delete Pat Shaw's when I take another look. And she says, "Are you the Robert Eisenberg that I knew in the 60s in New York City? If you are, first of all, I want to say this is not the first time I've emailed you. You haven't responded. And I have a feeling you won't respond now. But I want to apologize. I want to say that I remember you as smart, as funny, and as charismatic. And I want to say that I'm very sorry the way I acted. When our relationship, our beautiful relationship ended, I acted very badly. And I saw your picture on Facebook, and you look like you're doing quite well. And I couldn't be happier for you." This is 45 years later. What is this woman thinking about? I call my wife over, and I say, "Take a look at this." "What?" she says. I said, "Look at what this woman just said about me, and she's apologizing." "What is she apologizing for?" my wife says. "And why?" I said, I have no idea. She said, "Let me see what she said." I show her. She said, "Boy, those are really nice compliments. Maybe she wants you back." I said, "Do you have any other ideas?" She said, "Yeah, maybe she belongs to an apology group. And every month they have to apologize to somebody." She said, "Don't you think that anybody who said all those nice things about you deserves a response?" I said, "I'll think about it." As a matter of fact, I'll ask some of my friends what they think. So I did. I went out to 5 or 6 friends, and it came back 50-50. Half of them said, 45 years ago or so? Are you kidding? The others said, "Well, she did say nice things. You could say something back." I have a better idea, I said. I write a lot of stories. And one of the stories I had written a couple of years before I received this message was called "I Was a Nerd Before There Was Such a Word." And as many of the guys in this audience can relate to, most of the stories were about romances that went awry. Just about every one before my wife. And one of them included Pat. In those days, her name was Pat Steinberger before she was married. And I had just moved to New York City. I'd taken an apartment on East 85th Street. And she had come into New York in the brand new Chrysler convertible that her dad had bought her for her 19th birthday. And I met her on a party in the Lower East Side. She came back to my apartment, and she didn't leave until fall. And I want to say that the summer couldn't have been more glorious, more wonderful. I mean, every aspect of New York City we discovered together. Every day was full of love. Every day was full of new ideas and new places. And one of the reasons for it was I had little or no money. I had time. But when you go to New York and you come in and you can afford a 4-star hotel and a 5-star restaurant, we felt sorry for those people. Because we were eating in wonderful Hungarian bistros in Germantown, and we were paying bills of about $10, and we were experiencing palatcinta like we had never tasted, and cold cherry soup. And when we'd get done with dinner that cost under $10 for the two of us, we'd go over to Central Park and see free concerts with Neil Diamond practicing Cherry Cherry and Simon and Garfunkel testing Bridge Over Troubled Waters, all for nothing. This city was our wonderland. Every aspect of it was beautiful. And the two of us, like I said, filled our days with joy and love. And she was of Hungarian and French descent, and she was a wonderful cook. And she would cook these incredible dishes. And while she was cooking, she would lecture me on Bob Dylan and Leonard Cohen and explain to me these weren't just song lyrics. They were poetry. I sat there, I said little, but ate a lot. And during the summer, we fixed my friend Jake up with her friend Nancy, who she was living with before she moved in with me. And we thought the romance was doing beautifully. But one day Nancy came to the apartment, and she and I were cutting up different things for Pat's chicken paprika. And Nancy whispered to me, "I hate Pat, and I don't like Jake any better. Come off with me. I want to show you what a real woman is." Now, I was not ready for a real woman. I doubt if I like fake women. So I said something feeble like, "I don't think that's too good an idea." She countered with, "You ought to grow up." I thought to myself, I wish I had written it down. Could have helped me through the years. Well, the months went by, and each day was more beautiful than the day before. And finally, like all good things, it came to an end. And Pat had to go back to the University of Michigan in her Chrysler convertible with Nancy. And with tear-filled eyes, she said to me, "Promise you will never go out with anybody ever again for the rest of your life." She also said, "I will try to call you every day, but if I don't call, please call me." And she and Nancy went back to the University of Michigan. God knows what they talked about with Nancy hating her so much. And the calls did come. And in the beginning, they were very much like our romance. They were warm and wonderful and great to hear from her. And each call was wonderful. But as the calls started coming a little later, they started getting colder. And finally, she started telling me things that were wrong with me. Wrong with me? The worst part of it was she really got specific. 1,500 miles away. And then she would add, my roommate, who I'd never met, agrees with me completely. And finally, after one final call, where she really turned to me and she said, "And not only that, I never had an orgasm with you. I faked every one." And I said, "So did I." And I say to this day, I got the last word. I got something we really get after 45 years. I got an apology. How many of us ever get that, even when something happens, somebody feebly says sorry or something? And I still haven't responded.
And getting Helena hooked up. Well, I'll take this Marco Rubio moment. Let's take a little sip here. Now, the